Hello, I'm Joseph William, and I'm here at T&J Judgment Enforcers in downtown Los Angeles, and today I want to talk a little bit about registered process servers. Registered process servers are really important in this business, specifically with regard to wage garnishments and bank levies, which are kind of the bread and butter of the smaller cases that we handle. You really need to use registered process servers in Southern California. Now, in Southern California, specifically in Los Angeles County, San Bernardino, Riverside, and some of the other major counties, the sheriff's offices are so backlogged that to use a sheriff to serve a bank levy or wage garnishment can most times be very impractical. So you have to use a registered process server. Now, unfortunately, it's much more expensive to use a registered process server because you still have to pay the sheriff, because they're the one that are going to get the money from the bank levy or the wage garnishment, and they're the ones that are going to distribute it to you. But, so you still pay the same amount as if they were serving it, but you pay a registered process server an extra fee, and you get it done when you want it done, and it's really important. One of the complications with using a registered process server is that the paperwork involved when you use a registered process server is threefold over the paperwork when you use a sheriff. Now, when you use a sheriff, you submit the writ of execution and a couple copies and some sheriff instructions that are usually on their website, and it's pretty easy. Pay them their fee, and you wait and see what happens. With a registered process server, you have to prepare several more documents. You have to make sure your registered process server handles them right in the correct order. They have to open the file. They have to serve the documents on the judgment debtor and the bank and or employer, and then they have to properly close the file with the sheriff's office, and they have to make sure they submit the original of the writ, the signed notice of levy, the signed proofs of service. So it can be very complicated, and the registered process server has to be very organized, and if they make one mistake, it can be death to an enforcement action, specifically a bank levy. We all know that when it comes to judgment enforcement, you only get one bite at the apple when it comes to bank levies. So if your registered process server makes a mistake and the judgment debtor is mailed the proof of, or mailed the notice of levy, but the bank levy gets kicked by the sheriff's office because of a defect, and believe me, they will kick it for a very small technical defect, then you're out of luck, because you know what's going to happen. The judgment debtor is going to find out they're trying to levy their bank account. They're going to close that bank, or they're going to take all their money out of it, and you're starting at ground, right back where you started. Actually, you're a lot worse because you've spent some money that you didn't, that was a waste. Wage garnishment's not quite so bad, although you have the same situation of it taking a long time, and you're potentially wasting, can be up to 3-4 months for our sheriff to actually act on a wage garnishment or a bank levy. So that's 3 or 4 months of income that you could have on someone's employer or through the bank. So it's really important to have a good registered process server, because a lot of times these registered process servers don't do bank levies or wage garnishments. If they do them, they don't necessarily have experience in it, and you want an experienced registered process server to handle these matters. This is not something to let a newcomer handle. A lot of registered process servers, all they do is serve summons and complaints, or ORAPs, or things of that nature, subpoenas, and all they're doing is going out, finding somebody, and handing them a document. This is much more complicated, and you might have to spend a little more money on it than you would if they were just serving a summons and complaint, but it's worth it. If you're handling a complicated matter, that's something that's not just a small claims judgment or something like that, you might want to get a professional involved, like a judgment enforcer or an attorney. Or at the very least, I would recommend giving somebody a call who does this, and maybe you can get a referral for them. You probably won't be able to get it as inexpensive as someone who deals in volume with registered process servers, but at least you'll find somebody who does this and knows what they're doing. All right, registered process servers, an asset if used properly. And that's it. Thanks for stopping by T&J Judgment Enforcers. Have a great day.